The Pentagon called them a social experiment, but the unfiltered truth is that the Black Rangers of the Second Company became the most decorated elite unit in the Korean War while fighting a two-front war against the enemy and Jim Crow. This is the history of the 2nd Ranger Infantry Company, Airborne. In 1950, while the United States was still a segregated nation, the Army activated its first and only all-black Ranger unit at Fort Benning. They were known as the Buffalo Rangers, a name that carried the weight of the 19th century Buffalo Soldiers into the age of special operations. These weren't just soldiers, they were elite paratroopers trained for the most dangerous missions behind enemy lines. They were the shock force. While white regiments were often skeptical of black capabilities, the Buffalo Rangers were busy doing the impossible. The unfiltered reality of their service was a cycle of high-risk raids and deep reconnaissance. But their defining moment came in February 1951, Yid Hill 581. The company was ordered to take a strategic peak that was swarming with Chinese forces. They didn't just take it, they clawed their way to the top under a hail of fire. When night fell, the counterattacks began. Through the darkness and freezing cold, they repelled wave after wave of enemy soldiers. They held that hill until they were relieved, proving that black excellence wasn't just a social experiment, it was a tactical necessity. By the end of their deployment, the 2nd Ranger Company had earned more Silver Stars and Bronze Stars per capita than any other Ranger Company in the entire Korean War. Think about that. In a military that didn't want them to exist, they became the most valorous unit on the battlefield. But here is the unfiltered crime. After the war, as the military began to integrate, the 2nd Ranger Company was disbanded. Their records were filed away, and their specific legacy as an elite, specialized black unit was allowed to fade into the background of integrated history. They were overshadowed by larger narratives, and for decades, the story of the 1st Black Special Ops Team was buried. They represented the pinnacle of infantry skill at a time when the institution wasn't ready to admit that a black man could master special operations. They didn't just meet the standard, they redefined it. I want to hear from you in the comments. Why is it that we know about the Tuskegee Airmen, but the Buffalo Rangers, the men who dominated the ground in Korea, are missing from our textbooks? Is it because the system is terrified to admit that the elite of the elite was an all-black unit? Did you know the truth about the Black Rangers before today? Comment yes or no. We don't just tell the past, we show you the warriors they tried to disband from the blueprint.